Hello friends, I welcome you all. In this video, we are going to talk about the factors which were responsible for the development or origin of Jainism and Buddhism during the 6th century BC in India. Okay, so we will now discuss. Okay, so the 6th century BC is very important in the history of India. It was the century that showed the rise of two great religions. Examples are Jainism and Buddhism. The prevailing conditions of the time were responsible for their rise. Brahmins ruled supreme in the society. Yagnas were not only costly but compulsory also. The Hindu religion had lost its glorious original grace or glorious part. Okay, many meaningless rituals and customs had crept into the Hinduism. All this was a burdensome to the people who wanted a new and nobler way to lead their lives. Mahabir and Buddha took the leadership and showed the true path to the people. The following were the regions or factors responsible for the birth of Jainism and Buddhism in India. So, the first factor was complications and ritualism in Hinduism. So, the first important factor that gave rise to Jainism and Buddhism was that Hindu religion had become complicated and more ritualistic. It no more satisfied the needs of the masses. The Hindu religion was very simple in the beginning, during the time of Rig. Okay, its principles were easy to be followed at that time, but gradually many evils crept into the religion. Meaningless rituals and useless ceremonies surrounded it. Hence, the people began to look around for some other religion which could give them peace and satisfaction, and could they reach to gods easily. The second factor was caste system and untouchability. By the 6th century BC, the casteism had come to have a strong hold on Indian society. The Sudras were adversely affected by it. They were looked down upon by the people. They were not allowed to enter the temples or draw water from the common wells. How long the Shudras could tolerate this stepmotherly behavior or treatment by the society? They began to yearn for a new faith which would give them प्रॉपर प्लेस इन दी सोसाइटी। तो आपको पता ही होगा कि ऋग्वेद का जो 10th मंडल है जिसमें कि आपका पुरुषोक्त हिम है, वहाँ से आपके चार वर्ण का रेफरेंस मिलता है। जैसे कि चार वर्ण आपके जो हो गए ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय वैश्य शूद्र, तो वहाँ पर जो सबसे निचला जो तबका है, जो वर्ण है, जो वर्ण है, वो आपका शूद्र है। तो उनको नीचा माना जाता था। उनको विभिन्न सुविधाओं से वंचित रखा जाता था, तो वो अपने आप को बहुत नीचा फील करते थे। सो इसीलिए वो इस सब के खिलाफ आए। ठीक है, और उनको लीड किया किसने? आपको पता ही होगा, जैनिज्म और बुद्धिज्म के जो संस्थापक हैं दोनों, उन्होंने लीड किया इसको। ओके, नाउ थर्ड पॉइंट इज सेल्फिशनेस ऑफ द ब्राह्मण्स. The Brahman were once really great men who were learned in the religious books. But as the time passed, even the ordinary sons of a Brahman began to preach and guide the people. Religion became a plaything in such hands. They used religion to meet their personal ends. They were not as learned as their forefathers, but still they compelled the people to follow the distorted religion. Then the people began to resent the haughty attitude of the Brahmins and wish for an early change in the society. So now fourth point is difficult language. So we are well aware that the language or the language of books related to Vedic literature was Sanskrit. So all the major books were in Sanskrit language, which was quite difficult to understand by the masses. So the people wanted a change. They wanted that they should have books written in their spoken language. They wanted a religion which whose literature should be easy to understand. So this need was fulfilled by the Buddhism and Jainism. So all the literature related to Buddhism were most of the all, not all, but Most of the literature related to Buddhism was in Pali language, and the Prakrit was the language of the Jainism texts. So which were the common language in the society. Costly yagnas. During the Rigvedic period, the Aryans performed the yagnas in a very simple manner, but gradually it became a costly affair. It was a binding for the people to call several Brahmans and to feed them in common in a yagna. Some yagnas were incomplete unless 17 to 18 Brahmans were not properly entertained. For common people, it was very hard to bear this economic burden. They wanted someone should come forward and believe them or and relieve them of their burden. So the two persons lead the this movement. Okay, 6 point. So sixth point is belief in charms and spells. The people had become superstitious by the 6th century BC. They began to believe in magic and spells. They resorted to magic for warding off the evil powers. And Buddha didn't like this all. Okay, so he came forward for the emancipation of the people of these all charms and spells. Okay. Seventh point is birth of great man. So in the 6th century BC, all around the world, in the so in all around the world, major religious people or person took birth. Okay, the real cause of the rise of these religions is the birth of two great men in the 6th century BC in India. Okay, they were Bhagwan Mahavira and Mahatma Buddha. They reformed the Hinduism and put it before people in a different manner. Their teachings guided the people and were transformed into two great religions called Jainism and Buddhism. Eighth point is freedom of religious meditation. There was religious freedom for all in the ancient India. People meditated in their own way, all found their own answers to the basic questioning on life. They found their own ways of satisfaction. The basis for original meditation was already there for the Buddha and Mahabira. Okay, Mahabir. In fact, the decline in the Vedic religion was responsible for the rise of Jainism and Buddhism. Complexity of religion, moral decline of Brahmins, casteism, untouchability, costly yagnas, and difficult languages were these some factors which were responsible for the movement known as Jainism and Buddhism. So famous Enon Ghosh quote like this, like Luther and Calvin, Mahavira and Gautam Buddha protested against the corruptions that had crept into the Hinduism. Their protests turned out to be a new religion. So thanks, I thank you all.